let's talk a little bit about resale values. When it comes,
Teslas always appreciate.
Well, they don't depreciate as much.
Oh, okay.
So it's not necessarily that they're appreciating, but they're definitely not depreciating as much. So that's a positive.
Okay.
What we've got here is an outline of the top 5 depreciating cars, the ones that lose the value the most in the EV world. Number 1, the Fiat 500e loses almost 70% of its value after 3 years. The BMW i3, 63.3% of its value is gone after 3 years, followed by the Nissan Leaf at almost 60%, and the Volkswagen e-Golf at 58.1%. And rounding up the top 5, the Ford Fusion Energy with a 57.7% loss after 3 years of ownership. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the Tesla Model S after 3 years losing 17.1%.
That's pretty good.
I can attest to that.
In fact, that's even above some gas cars.
Yeah.
Above most gas cars.
Yeah, I believe the average for gas cars is 35%. So quite a bit better.
Yeah. So
now this does play in the fact that many of these cars were eligible for hefty rebates, whether federal or provincial or certainly state. Those do play into these calculations as well and cause the amounts to be a higher depreciation value. So depending on what you got your vehicle for, that also plays into this. And of course, where you're purchasing this used vehicle plays into it.
I mean, the going from new
resale is pretty low because all the rebates are baked into the price.
Yeah.
Like the first time it comes on the secondary market.
Exactly.
Right. So I guess the moral of this story is you may lose quite a bit off of a new purchase of an EV at these points, especially with the rebates that were available or are currently available, depending on which model you're buying. But the used market is a steal. It's definitely a buyer's market. So if you're looking at a 3-year used vehicle, you are going to make out like crazy.
Yeah, they're good deals. I mean, you can get a pretty decent Leaf for $10,000.
Yeah. It also looks like if you get a compliance car or a weird mobile, you'll pay the price.
I mean, I guess the other side of this is I'm kind of looking at good deals on the secondary market, which I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like one of the things, again, with this talking about that it's expensive to buy an EV, right? That you've got to have money up front. No matter how much you save in the back end, you still have to qualify for financing. You still have to make that monthly payment. Or it doesn't matter. It's out of reach. So the idea that the secondary market, we're seeing good values, granted they're not holding their value, but that for second time buyers, that's very good. That helps adoption. That helps people pick up an EV as a second car or a third car.
Like a used Fiat 500 for $10,000 and keep it for 4 years. That's probably, you could throw it away.
$200 a month?
It's probably it's probably cheaper than buying a Corolla for $26,000 and watching it depreciate $10,000. You know,
right?
And that's the other thing that those how expensive these new cars are to operate leaves out. Like you said, is not everybody can afford the monthly outlay up front, and then B, the maintenance on those cars. But if you start with a good solid used car, somebody's already paid the depreciation.
And a 3 or 4 year old car insurance is cheaper.
Yeah.
Registration fees are cheaper.
Parts are generally more readily available.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
The depreciation isn't, and I'm sorry to all the new car buyers out there who thank you for buying a new EV, but it's a really good thing that the secondary market is developing that way, because there are people like me that want to buy a less expensive EV, and now that's realistic, you know.
And when the car is new, the OEMs gouge you on repair parts like collision parts. I had a customer with the Prius Prime. They needed the front turn signal lamp, and it was like $800. And there's, no reasonable quantity of used ones, no aftermarket ones. Where if you need a turn signal for an 05 Prius, brand new aftermarkets are like $80.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's a good thing. Mark, anything else?
Nope, that's it for that one.
Thank you for that. That was a great story.